let's beam up some ducks. This is our review of Abduction.
Abduction is a hand management game about forming patterns of ducks so that you can collect them. And I had a lot of fun figuring out how to form the pattern and then getting them out of my pond.
It's a fun game with the mechanics, but the stars of the shows are the little ducks. We'll tell you all about it after this quack how to play.
Each player starts off the game by randomly filling their pond with ducks.
3 formation cards will be revealed that players can go after at the start of the game.
On each player's turn, they can play up to all 3 action cards in their hand.
Action cards will have abilities that players can use to maneuver their ducks into the correct formations.
When a player has a formation that matches a card's pattern, the player can then get that card and their turn ends.
Play continues until all 12 formation cards have been collected.
Players add up their scores from their formation cards, and the player with the most points wins.
The Intergalacduck Expansion plays the same as the base game, except that it adds in research pods that expand the board, glitter ducks that are wild, and advanced formation cards. Before you set off on a quacking good time, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button.
All your likes and subscribes really help our channel grow, so thank you.
So we backed this on Kickstarter, but then we got a chance to meet the creators, Josh and Evan, at Gen Con in 2023, and we got to play it at Gen Con, and we really enjoyed it. So I was looking forward to when we got home to playing it and then trying out the expansion. I really like how simple it is. You just have the ducks in a row, but it's complicated because you can only get one of 3 possible formation cards that are revealed to the whole table, whoever's playing, and your ducks may not be in the correct pattern, but someone else might be closer. So you have to think, all right, do I take the time playing my cards trying to make my ducks into that formation, knowing that it's going to take at least 1 turn to get back to me? Or is Lee or the other player going to be able to do it first, in which case I'll be wasting my time doing that? So you really have to think about what's strategically best for you of those cards to go after.
Yeah, as you mentioned at the top, I think the ducks are really what stood out for me. Like, I like ducks, they're fun, they do their own thing, give them bread or duck food or whatever, it's fine. But this one's all about like abducting them, and I always think about that like a funny idea, right? Like, oh, aliens are gonna come and they're just gonna abduct the ducks. That concept was really funny to me, and a lot of Josh and Evan's like very special games, they're very punny, they're very, very quirky concepts that I enjoy playing them and just seeing like what new things they come out with.
We did back the Kickstarter, so the Kickstarter came with the extra holding box that holds the regular base game and the expansion box all in one complete unit. I have to say that when we were playing the base game at Gen Con, I enjoyed it, but I kept thinking like, this game really needs some wild ducks. And they're like, oh, it's in the expansion. I'm like, it should have been in the base game. So I would say that if you're gonna buy this game and play it, you need to get the expansion because the wild ducks really do make it that much more fun as you're playing. It's a little bit difficult making the patterns without wild ducks and kind of going through it, and it can get a little annoying, especially if you're 1 duck away and then somebody else gets it and now you gotta kind of start all over again. But with the wild ducks, it really does make it a much more interesting game. So you definitely need to get the expansion with the base game, if only for the wild ducks.
Now let's talk about the action cards. So you have just regular action cards where you have your pond and maybe you're just maneuvering it around. You can play those type, but there are some take that mechanics in there that some people might not like too much because you're just trying to make your pattern and now someone else is gonna like interrupt so that they can't get abducted. Like, come on, man.
So we played with 4 players at Gen Con, which is the max for the base game. The expansion makes it so that you can play up to 6. And I think it gets better with the more that you play because, as Lee mentioned, there are some take that cards, and the fewer that there are, the more you're attacking the same person over and over and over again. And after a while, it can get a little annoying, like take that games can. But when you play with a lot of people and you have to be targeting everybody and no one's really taking a lead, because it is a little complicated to make some of the patterns, but when you do score, it does feel really good. But when you're able to go after everybody and everyone's attacking everybody and it's not a head-to-head tug of war type of a thing, then I think it really is a lot of fun. Because then when someone attacks, it's like, oh yeah, well they're attacking, they're using their card, whatever. It's not just, you're attacking me again? Come on.
Now, if the intent was it to be a party game, I mean, like Kenny said, we played at Gen Con, but let's say you brought it around a bunch of people, I could see how like table gets bumped, these fall on the ground, and you kind of lose like 3 to 5 pieces like every play. You're like, where'd that duck go? Or, I mean, they're so cute that maybe someone just takes it as a souvenir. I would say the little duckies, they're colorful, they're nice quality, and it's just fun kind of moving them around the board, trying to make that pattern.
I like the fun atmosphere that you get at the table while playing this game. Everyone's, oh, look at the cute little ducks as you're playing. It still can be a little bit cutthroat, but because of the cuteness, it kind of cuts through the cutthroatness of it. So while you're there playing, you can still be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this, or I'm gonna mess with Lee, or I'm gonna do all these things. But it's still a cute game with a fun name, so it's all lots of fun. What did you not like about the game?
I wasn't a fan that there were only 3 cards at a time. So like you kind of mentioned too, if someone went after it, you were like, ugh, now I got to figure out like what pattern like to do now. So, but I mean, I can understand that like hurry up and get the pattern then. So it got a little frustrating when people were taking it.
There's also a luck of the draw mechanic with the patterns that are visible. If you're going after something and it's only worth 2 points, and then the next card that's revealed is worth 5 points, and well, now you got to wait for it to come back, and someone else is probably going to get that 5-point card. There are high scoring cards in there, so there is a little bit of back and forth catching up. I don't think anyone really runs away with it. It's always kind of close. But I do feel like there's always one person who's not close. So even though one person isn't running away, there's always one person that's way behind. So I do think it could be balanced a little bit better. I do think the expansion with the advanced formation cards addresses that a little bit, because you'll also have the research pod that will go on your board that you can expand the board with from the expansion, and then you can create even more interesting formations and score even higher points. So that's another thing. Not only the glitter ducks, which are the wild, but the extra advanced cards that you can play with really will help match up those scores a little bit. So even if someone's way behind towards the end of the game, they can catch up with a couple of the advanced cards.
Overall, I like the artwork. It has good table presence. It's fun and quick to play. I think anyone can play it and just enjoy it. Even like big social gathering, little, just, hey, let's play this quick game real quick. I'll probably give this a 7.
Overall, I really enjoyed this game. I had a lot of fun playing it with the creators at Gen Con, and then when we played it by ourselves when we got back home and added in the expansion, I enjoyed it even more. So I would say that the base game is a 7. I agree with that. It's a lot of fun, but the expansion makes it even better, and I think that you have to get both, because when you add in the expansion components, then I'd say the game's about an 8. And that was our review of Abduction.
What'd you think? Are you ready to attack the quack? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video, subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
I'm Kenny. Go party like a board gamer.